Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me on this Let's Learn. Now, before we jump into today's demonstration, I just want to go over some PowerPoint slides so we can all get familiar with Power Automate. And just to put a face to the voice that you'll be hearing, my name is Angel, and I'll be presenting today's training. For today's agenda, we'll be learning how to navigate Power Automate as well as understand what flows are and how to create your own flows using templates, and finally how to create flows from scratch. Power Automate is designed to help you put the power to automate into the hands of those who know the work best and will benefit the most. Anyone from basic business users to IT professionals can create automated processes using Power Automate's no-code, low-code platform. Now, Power Automate is part of the Power Platform, which also includes Power BI, Power Apps, and Power Virtual Agents. The vision for Power Platform came from the recognition that data is increasingly flowing from everything, and the belief that organizations that harness their data to gain insights, then use it to drive intelligent business processes, will outperform those who don't. Now we have Power BI, where you can make informed, confident business decisions by putting data-driven insights into everyone's hands. We have Power Apps, where you can turn your ideas into organizational solutions by enabling everyone to build custom apps that solve business challenges. We have Power Automate, which we'll be focusing on today, where you can boost business productivity to get more done by giving everyone the ability to automate organizational processes. And we have Power Virtual Agents, where you can easily build chatbots to engage conversationally with your customers and employees. No coding required. Now, before we dive into creating flows in Power Automate, I want to address some of the key components that we'll be using to build and edit our flows. Every flow is going to start with an event or a trigger. These can range from manually activating the flow or something that occurs that automatically activates the flow. Once a trigger or event occurs, this will result in an action or even multiple actions. We can also use conditional logic to have branches of actions. An example of this is if we have an overdue planner task, there is a post made in Teams. Our conditional logic would be if a task is overdue, if this is true, the action of posting in Teams will occur. If it isn't overdue, there will be no actions taken. And our flows can even act as triggers for other flows to create more complex automations, which is a great feature to be aware of once you start designing your own flows. Oops, let's go back. Now, a trigger is an event that starts a flow. For example, if you want to get a notification in Microsoft Teams when someone sends you an email, in this case, you receiving an email is the trigger that starts the flow. There are three types of flows that can begin a cloud flow. The first one is a manual trigger, which is an instant flow. This is a user-activated flow. So to get the flow working, you have to activate it yourself. Then there's the scheduled triggers, like getting a to-do list sent to you every morning. This will occur at the time and frequency that you specified. And finally, there are automated triggers, based on events that happen in other apps or in cloud-based services. For example, you could be alerted every time your company or even your product is mentioned on Twitter. Each of these triggers begin an action, any number of steps that run after the trigger. The possibilities are endless with the provided templates and the ability to create your own. You can connect to any of your cloud services, any web page, or have the trigger begin an action with your locally based data. The great thing about actions is that they aren't limited to the applications where the trigger occurs. In fact, Power Automate really shines when you start combining applications. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and jump into today's demonstration. I'm going to go ahead and just minimize this PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to open up our web browser using Microsoft Edge. Now, if you're curious where to start when it comes to Power Automate, you can easily go to office.com and you will be prompted to log in if you haven't logged in already. And once you do, you'll be good with this window, where you can go to the upper left-hand corner where you'll find a waffle icon, or the app launcher, where you'll find your most recently used Microsoft 365 applications. Now, if you don't see it within this list, you can just simply go where it says All Apps, and you'll find all the applications for Microsoft 365 that you have a license for in alphabetical order. And I can see that Power Apps is here. Once you click on the application, in this case Power Apps, it will open up a separate tab. Now I'll be utilizing our first-party Microsoft applications to run these demonstrations. But note that you can do this, of course, with a lot of other web-based applications. Now, before we begin, I just want to do a little rundown. Like most Microsoft 365 applications, this has three main elements. You have your left-hand rail containing the tools that you'll need. You'll have your main content area on the center of your screen and your horizontal bar menu on the top of the screen. If you pay attention to the upper right-hand corner, you'll notice that I'm currently logged in as Adele Vance. Adele Vance works for a fictitious company called Contoso. So for today's demonstration, I'll be Adele, building some flows here for our company Contoso. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start over here within our left-hand pane. We're currently on our Home tab, and above our Home tab, we will find these three lines where you can easily collapse this menu. This will give you more real estate on the center screen. However, you can always leave it expanded, and once you get familiar with what each icon represents, you could always just leave it collapsed. Now, we're currently on our Home tab, and within our Home tab, you'll find a lot of things to get started right away. For starters, you already have some templates over here for emails. If you want templates here for files and documents, or files for notifications and reminders, they're right here within your home screen. In fact, you'll find that templates are around the entirety of Power Automate. Below this, you'll find some learning, so your training won't be limited to just what you're learning in today's video, as today's video is mostly just a level 100 to get you familiar with what Power Automate can do for you. Now, you can continue learning by clicking on one of these learning paths, where you'll find it tagged here for beginner, intermediate, advanced, and so on. Now, if we continue scrolling to the bottom here, it's just more documentations here for Power Automate. If you're curious to find all the documentations or learnings, you can go back to your horizontal bar menu, and right next to your profile picture, you'll find the question mark, where you can find documentation, you can find learning portals, and you can find the community here as well. The community would be a great way for you to get answers to those questions you may be asking yourself. The community is built by end users like you and me. In some cases, some of the users here are so helpful that they'll even build the automation for you. Now, from here, you can also download the desktop version of Power Automate. So Power Automate for desktop, you can download this. It is necessary if you're planning on doing automations for locally based data. So again, if you're planning on making automations, flows for locally based data, you will have to download Power Automate for desktop. And of course, I am part of my environment here, Contoso. That's because Adele works for Contoso in this demo environment. And you'll have to be part of environment in order for you to utilize these flows more effectively within your organizations. Now, if we go back to our left-hand rail, we'll find our approvals. So if you do create approvals for your within your flows, approvals will pop up over here. We're going to be creating one as an example today. You can find My Flows within your left-hand pane rail, where you'll find the flows that you've created or the flows that have been shared with you. And again, you'll find more templates. Of course, if you go down to Create, this is where you'll find the options here to start automated cloud flows, instant flows, schedule flows, and of course, desktop flows, which again will require you to download that Power Automate for desktop. And again, more templates here. We have, of course, all the templates within our template section. So even though there's a lot of templates here, I don't recommend reading through all of them. I would recommend going to the top picks section and reading these out to see, because most likely there's something here that will benefit you on your day-to-day. We have here shared with me, remote. We have our approvals if you want to create an approval process. We have emails, calendar, mobile, and more here within our ellipses. So again, your options are endless when it comes to templates. And we have our connectors here. If you're planning on incorporating flows that are third-party applications outside of Microsoft Office, then you will have to connect to your connectors from this list. You can connect to a lot of third-party applications from here. So again, if you need to connect to Twitter and get a notification every time somebody mentions something within Twitter, you can do that from here. You have your data over here. This is part of your Dataverse. So this is part of your environment. So if you have data that is incorporated within your organization, then this will be part of your environment here where you can incorporate that and it will be available for everyone within that environment. You have here, if you need to monitor your cloud flows, you can do that from here within your monitor. You have your AI builder. This is for incorporating your Microsoft virtual agents for bots as well. Now, we're not going to go much into every single detail as today is simply a level 100. So we're going to start off by building a template, building from a template here. So we're going to simply go to templates and let's start with a simple automation. I want to receive an email every time someone posts something on a particular channel. So if I want to get an email for every time somebody posts something within a particular channel, I already know that I have to start off with an email template. So I can go to email from here. And I can read around to see which one suits me best, but in this case, I want my emails and Teams to be the connectors. So I can already see right here that it says, send an email when a new message is added in Microsoft Teams. Perfect. I can simply click on this, and it's going to make sure that I'm connected properly. It looks like I'm not, so I need to sign in from here. So I'm going to click on sign in. In a lot of the cases that is third-party applications, it will prompt you to log in. If you are logged in already to your Microsoft Office, in a lot of cases, you'll be logged in automatically. But as you can see, that was quite simple. Since this is for first-party Microsoft applications, I didn't have to do much other than to prompt it to log in. Once I hit continue, it will guide me to this tree view here, where I can start building out my flow. Now, it may look a little intimidating, but I can assure you that it is not. In this case over here, I want to select the team that I'm going to be referring to. So every time something gets posted within a particular team, in this case, for example, within our sales and marketing team, and I have to just specify which channel. So from here, it's going to start loading up the channels that are part of this team. And in this case, we have our general channel, and then we have our monthly reports. I want to get a notification every time somebody gets something gets posted within our monthly reports. From here, I can go ahead and now assign the person who's going to receive the email, which is myself as Adele. So I can start writing down the name, and it will pop up within my organization directory. If I needed to incorporate other people here to receive the email, I can do that from here as well. Now, one thing I want to put your attention here is the subject. The subject will give you a generic message here saying new message on Teams channel. You want to make sure that you specify this message. Let's go ahead and close this out. So I'm going to go ahead and make it more specific. So I can put here new message on reports. New message on monthly reports sounds a lot more, sounds better. So in this case, I know exactly where that message is coming from instead of receiving that generic message. Now, the great thing about templates within Microsoft Power Automate is that it's not limited to just simply using what the connectors are connected to within that template. Right now, we're basically done. So I'm going to receive an email every time somebody gets posted within our monthly reports. However, if I needed to incorporate next steps, I can do that from here. So if I needed to incorporate something else, like once I received an email, then something else happens, you can do that from here. But we're going to keep it simple, and I'm simply going to hit save. As I hit save, it's just going to take a little bit, and it's going to give me this green bar on the top where it says your flow is ready to go. We recommend you test it. In order for you to test it, you just simply have to go below your profile picture on your right-hand corner, upper right-hand corner, and there's the test option here, where I can do a manual test and click on test. Now again, I should receive an email every time somebody gets posted on Teams. So I'm going to open up my Outlook, and I'm going to open up Microsoft Teams from here as well. So now that I have my email loaded, I'm going to go ahead and go to that sales and marketing team, and go to that monthly reports channel where, looks like I'm not part of, looks like I don't have access to make a post here. No worries. Let me go ahead and just see what post, which channel I have. Okay. Then there's this one here, drone advancements. Let's go ahead and redo that so we can go ahead and test it properly. So I'm going to go ahead and just exit this out. I'm going to ignore this one, and I'm just simply going to go back to my templates, and I'm going to select a channel I have access to. So again, I'm just going to go to my emails, and I'm going to go to my send an email when a new message is added in Teams. I'm already connected, but this time around, I'm going to select the proper team that I have access to. So I'm just going to wait for this to load. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and select that drone advancements. And from here, I'm going to select the channel from that drone advancements, which start RT support. Actually, it would make sense. So let's go ahead and do that. So new message on IT support. We're just doing the same thing. And I'm going to select myself over here as Adele. And now I'm going to hit save. Again, a message will pop up on top. We recommend you test it. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do a manual test. And as I'm doing that manual test, I'm just simply going to go to that particular channel. Again, our IT support team, a channel within our drone advancements. And I'm just going to make a test post here. So I can put over here new IT support items available, and I can send this out and make a post. Now that should begin the trigger, and now I should receive an email shortly for that. I'm just going to go back to my Power Automate, and it says here your flow ran successfully now that we did that manual test. So I should receive an email shortly, and here it is. It says here a new message on IT support, which that's the tag that we added, or the title we added. And over here I can see in the body of that particular post, it says new IT support items available. Perfect. As you can see, it was that simple. Now let's make it more complicated. So in this case, actually I'm going to go ahead and open up my email again. I'm going to leave the Outlook open here. In this case, I want to start an approval process. So now let's say I manage files coming from a SharePoint document library. I want to make sure that I want to validate and approve or even deny any documents that's added. So we can go to templates, and within our templates we can go to our approvals section. But I found that there's a shortcut right over here within our top picks. And within our top picks, I already see that that's right over here. It says start an approval when a file is added to SharePoint. Perfect. So I can click on this. And again, it's going to make sure that I'm signed into everything here. So I'm going to sign in to my Office 365. Looks like this particular demo account hadn't signed into this. Let's make sure that we're signed in. Sign in. Okay, it says creating. Perfect. Excuse the delay as I'm currently using demo accounts. And perfect. Now all my connectors are connected. I'm going to hit continue. And from here, it's going to be pretty simple. We can go into that tree view that we were previously on when we created that simple automation or that simple flow to receive an email every time something gets posted within a team. And if we want to go into that same tree view, we would just simply click on Edit in Advanced mode if you want to add additional connectors or additional steps in this case. But we're going to keep it simple. And again, we're going to select what SharePoint site to monitor. In this case, we're going to select our sales and marketing. And just to showcase the sales and marketing team site on our SharePoint, I'm going to go ahead and open up our SharePoint here. And I'm going to go into my waffle icon and go into SharePoint. And from my SharePoint, I'm just simply going to go to my sales and marketing. There you go. So Adele manages this document library from here, from this SharePoint site. So right now we want to make sure that we can monitor this by creating an approval process. So again, we've already clicked on that particular template. We've selected that sales and marketing team site on SharePoint. And now we're going to select the document library itself to be monitored, which is going to say here documents. If you want to be more specific and have an approval process for a folder within your document library, you can just simply go here where it says show picker, and you can choose a folder specifically from there. But I'm going to keep it simple and just monitor our entire document library. And again, I'm just going to write down my name here as Adele. And in this case over here, since it's for approvals, I always make sure that there is at least one other person here as well. So I'm going to start writing down Nestor here. So if Adele is not around to approve those documents, then at least I have Nestor to be able to approve that. So once I'm done here, all I have to do here is hit create, which again is going to be the same process. There you go. Your flow is ready to go. Perfect. So now in this case, if I add a new item here, which I'm going to go back to my SharePoint site, I'm going to now start by adding a new document here. So I'm going to put Word here. I'm just going to give this document a name. So this is going to be our demo doc. And today is the 15th. So 2.15. Yeah, that's good enough. And in the bottom here, I'm just going to put test doc. Wow, excuse the fat fingers. There you go. So this is automatically saved, so I can just simply close this document out. And I should receive an email shortly with that approval. And in addition, I can always manage approvals directly within my Power Automate window. So within my Power Automate window, I can simply go to where it says approvals. So I should receive an approval here shortly. Again, I am using a demonstration account, so it may take a few minutes for that to happen. So let's go ahead and see where all the flows I've created are here. So I created the first one, which is send an email when a new message is added. Worked perfectly. Send an email when a new message is added. Actually, these are the same ones. I just added the right channel this time around. And the second one we've created here is the approvals process, which again may take just a few moments here. Let me see over here. Nope, that was the email I received earlier. Alrighty. Oh, there it is. Perfect. So it looks like it just took a little bit. So now I've received an email here with this approval. So now I can easily either approve or reject this from here directly from my email, or I can go to the Power Automate section window and go to our approval section. Let's go ahead and just simply refresh this screen. And that should be here. Perfect. So I see here review on SharePoint for Demo Doc 2.15. I can easily, again, approve, or I can reject this, or I can click on the document itself. It will open up a new pane here on my right-hand side where I can also have these options here, where I can approve, reject, or even reassign this. I can even add a comment here, why I approved it or why I denied this from here. So you can see it's quite easy. Of course, if it's just a standard document, I can just simply approve directly from here. And by clicking this, it will just simply automatically pop up as approved. And if I needed to add a comment from here, I can. But I'm just simply going to confirm that so it can be uploaded to that SharePoint site. Once it's done, then I have no more pending approvals from here. As you can see, it was quite simple. One last thing I want to go ahead and demonstrate here is how to create a flow from scratch. Now in this case, I want a message to be posted on a channel every time a new item gets added to the product list within my SharePoint. So in order for me to demonstrate that, I'm going to go to my sales and marketing on my SharePoint site. And from here, I'm going to showcase our product list. Our product list here is where we keep track of inventory for this particular team. So I want to make sure that I receive, or the team receives, a notification within that particular channel every time something gets posted here or an item gets added here. So in order for us to do that, we're going to simply go back to our Power Automate window, and we're going to hit create on our left hand side, and we're going to start a automated cloud flow. From here, we're going to give this a name. I can put over here new product added. And from here, I want to start the trigger from our SharePoint site. So I'm just simply going to write SharePoint. And it's going to give me a lot of options here. So when a file is created in a folder, when an item or a file is modified, when an item is deleted. There you go, perfect. It says here when an item is created. I can simply click on what I want it to do and hit on create, which will take me back to that tree view where I can now add the next steps. But before I do, I want to make sure that I specify exactly what a site address. So again, it's from my sales and marketing. And the list name is our product list. Perfect. Now that we've selected the team and the product list, we're going to add the next step here, which is for it to be able to make a post on Teams. So I'm just simply going to write Teams here. Perfect. I'm going to select Microsoft Teams here. And now I can select or search. I'm just simply going to write post so it can narrow down my search here. It says post adaptive card, post free, post adaptive, no. There you go, perfect. It says post a message in a chat or a channel. Perfect, we're going to select that. It's going to be, you have the option here for to make a user message or a flow bot. I personally like leaving it on flow bot. So that automatic message gets posted by that bot. And from here, I'm going to select if I wanted to post within a chat, a group chat, or a channel. I'm going to select a channel. It's going to give me more options here. I'm going to select the specific team from that channel. So I'm going to select our sales and marketing. And I'm going to select over here within our general channel. And now we're going to add some dynamic content from here. You may have picked up on some dynamic content while we're building stuff here and there. But if you're curious as to what dynamic content is, it's grabbing information from the source. In this instance, it's grabbing information from the SharePoint list. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and simply write a message beforehand. New product added. And now I want to choose what information or what dynamic content to pull. Let me go ahead and just give you a quick lesson here. We're going to go to our sales and marketing, and you're going to see all these columns here. We're going to see our title, we're going to see our code name, our product line, product type, and so on. We don't need all the pieces of information. In this case, we can dynamically choose what information to give us. I can just simply choose the title. I can simply choose the product line and the color, for example, and I don't need everything else. So we're going to go back to our Power Automate window here, and we're going to select that dynamic content. We want the title, we want the product type, and we want the color. And that's it. We're going to keep it quite simple and only choose these things. Now that we went ahead and selected these, I'm just simply going to hit save. Again, this is a quick, simple one that we're starting from scratch. So now we've saved it here. It's going to give us the same message. Your flow is ready. We recommend you test it. Again, I can simply go to the test option within our upper right-hand corner. Click on manual test. Click on test. And now it's going to wait for me to do that manual test. So we're going to go ahead and add a new product. We're going to go to our sales and marketing, our product list, and I'm going to go ahead and add a new product here. So I'm going to select new. I'm just going to add a controller here. Our product line here is for gaming. This is our gaming accessories. And over here, I've selected a yellow one. And for the hell of it, we're going to go ahead and add that controller image here as well. Perfect. I'm going to click on save. And now that I've added that particular item within this particular list, I should now be able to receive an email or a message within my general sales and marketing. Perfect. I can see here just today I've received a new product added, which is our gaming controller, and it's a yellow gaming accessory. Perfect. So the dynamic content has been pulled and now it's showing here within my Microsoft Teams. Now, I want to touch on two more things before we conclude today's training or tutorial. So, if you decided that that these automations or these flows may be beneficial to your other coworkers, you can go ahead and share that. In order for you to share your flows, you just simply have to go to where it says My Flows, where all your flows will be located. And you can simply hover over whatever flow that you want to share. You'll have the option to edit the flow if you want to add next steps or change the channel or change whatever. You can edit from here. But right next to your pencil, you'll have the share icon where you can easily share this with other people. So from here, I want to go ahead and share this with Alex. I can go ahead and share this with Alex if I wanted to. And if I wanted to add more people over here, for example, I want to go ahead and, fat fingers. I want to go ahead and add Pradeep, for example. I can go ahead and do that and add Pradeep. And I can click OK to add people here. And once I'm done adding people here, that's it. I can simply go back and I can do whatever it is I need to do. So as you can see, it's quite simple for you to share. Now, one other thing I want to go ahead and showcase here is within our Microsoft Teams. I love using Power Automate directly from Teams. And in order for you to add Power Automate, you simply have to go to the App Store from here. So we're going to go to our left-hand rail within our Microsoft Teams. We're going to go to Apps. And we're going to simply search for Power Automate. Whoops. And it's already popping up here. Perfect. To add it, you can simply click on Add. However, this is going to install it as a personal application for you. If you wanted to add this as a channel app or a chat app, you will have the option to do that by clicking on the downward arrow. Let me showcase how to do that real quick. I'm just going to go back to the App Store here. And again, I'm just going to search for Power Automate. And as I click on it, it already says open here because I've already installed it. But there will be an option here with a downward arrow where you can add this to a team or add this to a chat. But let's go ahead and go back to Power Automate from here. So I'm just going to click on these ellipses, go to Power Automate from here. The great thing about Power Automate within your Microsoft Teams is not only that you're able to turn on and turn off your automations from here, but you're also able to see who is currently connected to that automation that you've created, who you shared it with. You can easily create new automations from here as well by clicking on these templates, or you can click on New Flow and it will give you more options for templates. Or if you want to create from scratch, you can just simply click on where it says here, Create from Blank. Now, as you can see, there are many ways to create and do your own thing from here. So with that being said, I just want to go ahead and just open up my PowerPoint presentation and conclude what we just discussed today. So today we learned about triggers and actions, the main components of a flow. We learned to understand the types of flows available in Power Automate. We took a tour of our Power Automate window, as well as we created flows using templates as well as from scratch. With that being said, I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.